I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Numbers, chapter 9, and let's focus on verses 22 and 23. Whether it was 2 days or a month or longer, the Israelites camped and did not set out as long as the cloud stayed over the tabernacle. But when it was lifted, they set out. They camped at the Lord's command, and they set out at the Lord's command. And they carried out the Lord's requirement according to his command through Moses. Numbers chapter 9, verses 22 and 23. Now, while I was traveling around the world amuck in America, in a Christian rock band, I stumbled into some really interesting situations out there on the road. I met some really amazing people. And one such encounter happened at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And our concert at the Academy happened to fall on the induction weekend for new Academy plebes. Shortly after our band's sound check, an upperclassman gave me that psst sign, like, hey, come here. So I inclined his invitation. I'm always down for something cool. And after we walked around the corner, he says, do you want to see something cool? And of course I did. And he led me to the projection room of a theater where they were hazing the underclassmen. No, it wasn't anything that was violent. They were just yelling at them a lot, quite frankly, and reminding them that you're no longer in Kansas. And then abruptly, the hazing stopped, and they began projecting patriotic and battlefield images onto the theater's movie screen. And this group of sleep-deprived and thoroughly hazed late teens went wild. And the energy and the patriotic fervor was just remarkable. The upperclassmen were reminding the newbies of America's tradition of military superiority and exactly why the United States are worth fighting for. And the book of Numbers describes how God regimented Israel into a disciplined nation. After the tabernacle was assembled and the Levites consecrated, the Lord's first command was for Israel to remember. They were to observe the Passover. You see, the Lord knew that Israel's remembrance of their slavery and their bitter tears and his deliverance was imperative to make their wilderness boot camp endurable. So, an interesting phenomena occurs in boot camp. All personal identity is diminished and the company identity develops. Right? Everyone gets the same haircut. Remember those pictures of Elvis even with his beautiful hair getting shaved off, because just like everybody else, you get the same haircut at the same boot camp. Everybody has the same uniform. Everyone endures the same shared hardships. Nobody has a predictable sleep or eating schedule. It makes no sense except that everyone goes through it together. And that's how war is. And that's how anyone is regimented. Likewise, God generally chooses to bond his people through adversity, and that's how life is. Adversity produces better followers than miracles produce. And this is simply because the individual undergoing adversity learns to listen to and to obey the voice of the leader. And additionally, the individual learns to work alongside members of their Christian community who are likewise pursuing the Lord through his word and going through the same stuff. Now take a moment to remember life before your personal deliverance through Jesus. And now commit yourself afresh to trust him and to follow him wherever, whenever, and however he leads. And keep in mind that the Lord has a plan and he always chooses rightly. There is a reason why you are becoming disciplined, so that you can go and make disciples of others, so that you can all be the family of God. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Check us out at groundworksministries.com.